That's right! Welcome to the side of the ring, because it's time for some ringside rumors. Hopefully this recording doesn't conk out like the last one did, okay? Aye. We've got 3 top rumors for you, ladies and gentlemen, so without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Starting with our first top rumor, the Wrestling Observer newsletter claims there is no hiring freeze, as has been rumored, and in fact, WWE is, quote, still business as usual when it comes to hiring and in talks with new significant performers. Well, there's no hiring freeze, so there's not really much else to say about that. So that now opens up the avenue of, well, now that, there's no like hiring freeze whatsoever, now we have to just pretty much wait and see who the WWE, is able to reel in with their contracts and everything like that. At first, I thought it was going to be Nick Aldis, but then he re-signed with Impact, and then you've got Mercedes Moné negotiating a contract extension with NJPW, I believe, and, there's a lot of other people floating around, but I think everybody's kind of got, like, their feet in the sand already, you know what I mean? So I don't really think that, at least as far as I can tell, there doesn't really seem to be anybody off the top of my noggin, that is really chomping at the bit to be with WWE at the moment. So right now, it really seems like mostly we're just gonna have to wait and see who WWE is gonna be able to, like the whole like stick in the box situation. Who's gonna be able to, fall into the trap, which is not really a good choice of words, since WWE isn't really that bad of a place anymore, but you get the point. You get what I'm trying to say. So we're just gonna have to wait and see who ends up taking the bait. Our next top rumor, an interesting note from the Observer: before starting up the ongoing Mysterio family feud, there was apparently, quote, serious thought given to sending Dominic to NXT. I think that would have been incredibly interesting. I think that Dominic in NXT would have definitely opened up a lot of different avenues, and I definitely would have loved to see a lot of different storylines with him and like Axiom and Nathan Frazier and I don't know, the Pretty Deadly and all that sort of. I'm not saying that like all of those types of things would have 100% happened, but just the thought of like being able to, what's the word? Indulge, I guess. I don't know, for lack of a better term, indulge in those potential storylines. You know what I mean? Like, I would have loved to see, what's his face? The Schism. I would have loved to see them trying and, coax is a word. Whatever. I think all in all, I think that would have been a very interesting avenue to go down. We didn't get it, and if you ask me personally, if you ask me in like a dark room, I think that was probably the best thing to do. I think that's like the best thing to, that was the best avenue to go down, because we wouldn't have had to. I don't know. I think that what we got, right, the storylines that we got and the promos that we got and everything, I think that that's like the best thing. Right now. But listen, all right, that isn't to say that Dominic and NXT wouldn't have been absolutely spectacular, though. Our final top rumor, the Observer says AEW plans to book the first singles match between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland on the Double or Nothing pay-per-view event in late May. If you ask me, I don't think that this match, I don't know, man. I just think that this happened like very late, right? Like, this is the thing that I was saying about the whole family feud situation, in the sense of like there's so much has like happened, right? Like, we had the whole Keith Lee getting his head cracked open on the cinder blocks, and all of the rocks and the dirt and the dust, it got into his follicles, and that's why he has gray hair now. My only gripe is just the fact that I think the heat for this feud was there at one point. It was there, and then over time, because Swerve, right, after the whole Cinderblock scenario, right, Swerve started a knitting group, and then the knitting group wasn't really getting as much shine as everybody thought it was. So Swerve then decided, all right, well, now I've decided to merge companies with the sewing group, so now we are Knitting and Sewing Incorporated, and I think that he's currently got like all that going on, right, and now Keith Lee's back, and he's in like at least as far as I can tell, it looks like he's in a program with Jericho, but I don't think that's the case. I think that Lee was just sort of in a program with Jericho to sort of start the program with him and Cole, right? But I don't really know 100%, to be totally honest with you. So honestly, again, if you ask me, I don't really think that this particular match needs to happen. I think you could definitely, do something else. But look, again, it's at Double or Nothing. It's Lee and Swerve, right? I'm not Lee, I'm not Swerve, I'm not Tony. So I can't really sit here and be like, oh, this is going to be bad, or oh, this isn't going to happen, or yada, yada. I don't really know. So I guess right? Listen, all right? Like the Jade Cargill Marina Shafir match, we're just going to have to wait and see if the match is actually any good or not, okay? Can't really sit here and say, oh, it's going to be bad or, oh, it's going to be good. Listen, all right? We just got to wait and see what happens when the bell rings, okay? Now we're going to get into the minor rumors. And our first minor rumor is Fightful Select says Cody Rhodes had meetings for potential movie/TV roles while in Los Angeles during WrestleMania week. Once more, he's apparently interested in playing Johnny Cage in the next Mortal Kombat movie. Cody Rhodes is currently, as far as okay, that's what it sounds like, right? It sounds like he is currently going down the road that every wrestler, every qualified wrestler is going down, right? Your John Cena's, your Romans, your Batistas, right? Where they are wrestling and they're really popular, and then somebody comes from the shadows in the alley and goes, would you like to be in a movie? And then they go, yeah, sure, man, why not? And then they go, yeah, wonderful. And then they slink back into the darkness and okay, and then they follow them, and then, they get jabbed, and then bada bing, they're in like a blockbuster movie that gets like fulfillions of dollars, and then you never hear from them again in the WWE. And then you got guys like Chris Van Vliet going up to them and be like, hey, I'm really handsome and symmetrical. Do you think you're ever going to be in WWE again? And then they go, ha, no. At the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see if, Cody is potentially going to take up that role. I don't 100% know. And listen, more power to him if he does eventually do it. Our next minor rumor, WRKD Wrestling is claiming Monday Night Raw this week, barring any changes, will feature the Bloodline and the Judgment Day interacting and deciding to go after each other's enemies. This sounds great. There's not really much to say about it. The only thing that's really coming out of it is just the fact that I'm looking forward to the decent matches, because I assume that means that we're going to get the Judgment Day, which is probably going to be Dom and Damian versus, Sammy and Uso. Yeah, Sammy and Uso. Sammy and Kevin. So, listen, all right, it's Damian and Dom and Sammy and Kevin, So, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And also, that means that we're going to get the Usos versus Escobar and Wild, or Raul. That's right. I know the names, even though I didn't know the names of the girls and young veterans. Okay, leave me alone. Our final minor rumor. Andrew Zarian on the Mat Men podcast said he heard an announcement of the AEW Saturday show could be coming in mid-May, and the show might be starting in June. I don't necessarily know why this whole quote-unquote soft brand split thing is happening. I know what's happening. We know why it's happening. We know why it's happening, right? Which, the fact that we know why this is happening only makes the origin, right, of the entire thing incredibly stupid. And I don't see why Tony Khan, of all people, would be perfectly fine with allowing something like this to happen. Because I've said this before, it's promoting tribalism. You are promoting the fact that if you don't like somebody, you don't have to like them. You don't even have to deal with them in a professional setting. You can just piss off to a different roster altogether, and you don't even have to talk to them. Now, okay, the show itself is not really that big of an issue. It's the reason for the show that I personally have a gripe with. But listen, man, I've said this a bajillion amount of times. You and I don't get a say in what we want to see and what we don't want to see. You can say, and a fan, all you want about CM Punk. All you want. You can scream and cry and fart all you want. CM Punk is coming back. So whether you like the guy, whether you don't like the guy, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. So either you stop watching AEW, which is a stupid reason. It's not. It is. It's a stupid reason. Or you shut up, you watch the program, and you see what they do. Because I highly doubt CM Punk is going to come back, and they're just going to have him sit in the middle of the ring, and Tony Khan's going to come out and go, everyone, I have a microphone right here. Everyone point and laugh at him. Laugh in 9 days. CM Punk, I'm gonna make everybody laugh at you in 9 days. 9 days to do the pay-per-view. What do we talk about? Cody Rhodes could potentially be the next Johnny Cage in the next Mortal Kombat movie. He's interested in playing it. We're going to have to wait and see how that turns out. Listen, all right, I think that would be very interesting. I would like to see The Miz be Johnny Cage more than Cody Rhodes, to be totally honest with you. But that's just me. Wrestling Observer claims there's no hiring freeze. So, like I said, we are going to have to wait and see how that bodes for the foreseeable future with people who want to sign or people who are eligible to sign for the WWE. So only time will tell how that will go. WRKD Wrestling is claiming Monday Night Raw, barring any changes, will feature the Bloodline and Judgment Day interacting and deciding to fight each other's enemies. Well, we're going to have to wait and see how that turns out. I'm looking forward to it because all that really tells you is there's going to be absolutely stellar matches. I'm looking forward to that. An interesting note from the Observer: before starting the ongoing Mysterio family feud, there was serious thought of sending Dom to NXT. Again, that would have been very interesting. I would have loved to have seen the storylines that he would have gotten potentially plugged into. With that being said, I like the avenue that we ended up going down anyway. I don't think that we would have gotten the Dominic that we have today. And that being said, I am really glad that we decided to go this way in the first place because, you know, I think that we got a better Dom out of it. So I'm not really complaining. Andrew Zarian said he heard an announcement of the AEW Saturday show could be coming in mid-May, and the show might be starting in June. Again, I don't know why this is happening. It's happening anyway. Like the CM Punk thing, I can complain all I want. It's still happening, so it doesn't matter, right? The only person, right, who it really matters to at the end of the day is Tony and Warner Brothers Media. So there's not really much that you and I can really say about the whole situation. And finally, Observer says AEW plans to book the first singles match between Lee and Strickland on the Double or Nothing pay-per-view event in late May. Again, a bit late, if you ask me. You don't really need to do something like that. I think that you could have potentially done something like this a lot sooner, but I don't know. Given the circumstances, I understand why you didn't. You've got Swerve currently in like a whole company merger thing right now, and with that being said, I don't know. It just feels like less motivation to do the Lee and Strickland match. But again, like I said, it's happening at Double or Nothing, and it's Lee and Strickland. So ultimately, right? You know, if you're gonna do it, then what a better place to do it at, and who better to have in the ring than Lee and Strickland? So that's pretty much all I have to say about that, folks. That's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully this recording doesn't fall out of my ass. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.